You worked at the steelworks, didn't you?
I worked in the same, John Lysart's.
When did you start?
I started in 1961 as an apprentice plumber, age 15.
And what jokes did they play on you on your first day there?
It wasn't much of a joke. I mean, as a first year apprentice, your first day you got greased. Greasing means that all the other apprentices grab you, pull your overalls and underpants down, and they slop grease all over your private part. And then, being a very naive person, I went into the showers, the hot showers, because the grease wouldn't come off. So there's a little rat bagger, or one later on, 2 years later, belted. His name was John Groves. Gave me a rag that was. He said, "Use this will get it off." And it was turps.
Oh.
And I rubbed my private area with turps, so you can imagine the effect that had.
And what about your, do they send you on any errands to get anything?
Oh yeah, well, being very naive, I was working with a tradesman, we were heating this pipe up, and he says, "What we need is some steam." So he gave me a bucket, and he says, "Go down to the boiler room and get a bucket of steam." So I raced down, and he says, "You'll need a cover." So I raced down with a cover and a piece of metal to cover the bucket, and I raced in there, and the boiler room, I said, "I need a bucket of steam," and the boiler room man knew it had been set up. All the apprentices got done. So he gets this pipe, "Put the lid on quick." So I put the lid on and raced back. I went up there and he took the lid. He says, "There's none in here. You've let it all out." I said, "I tried." He says, "Go back and get another bucket." So I went. This was in the machine shop, and I walked down. And as I looked at everybody's laughing their heads off at me. You know? Took it off. Yeah.
They done ya?
They played tricks on all the new apprentices like you wouldn't believe.
I'm sure you did it to some after that.
Oh yeah, we all did. Everybody did it.
And didn't you used to be in classes and used to take tests? And wasn't there a day where you had a teacher with a test?
Oh yeah, we had to do, and we used to have to go to take at night time, and we didn't feel like doing this test, and we're all messing around, and he says, "I'll be back in 10 minutes, and he says, "You lot had better be quieting down, and we're going to do the test." And he came back in 10 minutes, and we were all sitting there really quiet, and he goes to his desk. We'd all picked the blacksmith's anvil up and put it on top of his desk. It was a lift-up desk, but that's where the test was in. And he couldn't get the test out. But he saw the funny side of it. He made us take the thing down. Yeah.
Didn't he used to drive a nice car? He'd go out the car park every day?
No, that was the engineer. That was Archie Jolly, a Scotsman who was anything but jolly. He was the most angry man I'd ever seen in his life. And on Christmas time, all the apprentices, the last day before Christmas, the apprentices were allowed to wander around and play jokes on people. So we all got round Archie Jolly's car and we lifted it up, and we put bricks underneath the back wheel, which meant the tyres were that far off the ground. So he gets into his car and he goes, "Wrong, wrong, wrong," because the tyres are just going round and round, the back tyres are going round, and he goes, "Wrong, wrong," and she vibrates and it drops off the bricks and it hits the ground. Around the car park. We all got, oh man, we got into trouble for that, I can tell you. We got really punished for that one.
Worth it though.
Oh, well worth it. We were legends for doing that. Absolute legends. It was fantastic.
And didn't you, after you'd been in the steelworks a while, didn't you meet a kind of like a mentor who took you under his wing?
Yeah, when I was, there was a guy by the name of Snowy Burns. He was, his name was John Burns, but he had a nickname Snowy. He had grey hair, but he was a digger. A digger means he was a returned soldier and he had been to, he fought in Tobruk, North Africa, and in New Guinea. Tough. Ooh. He told me the first, second or third day I was an apprentice, he told me to dig this trench, and I said, "I'm not digging that. I didn't come here to learn how to dig trenches." And he said, "Dig the trench." So I told him where to go using the usual F word, and I turned my back and he kicked me up the bum so hard with his steel toe cap. It hurt, and he says, I didn't fight Japanese and Germans, told where to go, why you? Right.
That set the tone then.
That's right, and whatever he said, go. And he'd be working, and I'd be standing next to him, and he'd just put his hand out like that. And I had to put a tool into his hand, and I had to guess what tool that he needed. And if it was wrong, he'd say, why did you give me that? And I'd say, and he says, well, no, I needed that before I needed this. And that's how I learned what tools to use. He just made me work at it at all times.
Anticipate
what was needed, how the job was going to go, and you learned. And there was never a moment, if we were standing around doing nothing, he'd write a problem. Here's the tank. It's so many feet in diameter, it's so many feet high. How much, what would the water weigh, and what pressure would it give if it was up on top of that building over there? And he'd make me do all things like that.
Sounds like you kind of got your mind working and kept you inspired.
Well, the steelworks was a boring place. Without Snowy Burns, I would have gone nuts. But the best part about being with Snowy, he was such a good tradesman. We got all the good jobs. We didn't get boring jobs. If the engineers wanted a plumber, then we were the guys they sent for. It was great. We got terrific jobs.
How long were you at the steelworks for?
6 years. After 5.5 years, Snowy had a heart attack and died. He was 58, and I left, and I lost all interest in plumbing after that. I really did. It wasn't a challenge.
Weren't you on top of a house on your last day?
On top of the house on the last day.
And someone asked you to change the guttering or something like that?
Oh yeah.
And then you decided to.
The guy I was working as a plumber outside, and this guy was trying to rip me off and say I didn't ask you to do that and put that up, and I just got up there and I just got hold of the gutter and pulled it down. He says, "What are you doing?" I said, I'm taking my gutter away. And he said, I want you to leave it up there. I said, too late, mate, that's it. And that's the day I gave plumbing away. I just couldn't be bothered dealing with silly people anymore.